Hi all, this is Toph Whitmore from Simba Technologies here in British Columbia, Canada. Welcome to the Simba Technologies webinar, 5 Minutes to Data, How to Connect to Salesforce with Tableau, Excel, or QlikView. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here, and we're really happy to have you join us. A couple quick administrative details, and then I'm going to hand it over to our sales engineer, Kyle Porter, who will lead today's webinar. We are recording this webinar. We'll make it available on the Simba.com website after we're done here today. I hope it'll be up later this afternoon. If you do have to drop off, no big deal. Or if you want to hear something again, you can access the recording later today. In addition, this will be a fairly brief call. We mean what we say in the title of the presentation. Using Simba Technologies, you can really get to your data within 5 minutes. We've got Kyle doing a couple of demos, and he's connecting to 3 applications. So I'll let you do the math on that. With that, one other administrative detail. We will be taking questions at the end of the webinar, but I'd ask that you submit them via the chat window on GoToWebinar, and we'll be able to get to 2 or 3 of them. If we don't get to yours, we will do our best to capture it and get back to you. If you are not getting a fast enough response from us, send us an email to solutions@simba.com. And with that, let me hand it over to Kyle Porter, sales engineer here at Simba Technologies. Take it away, Kyle.
Thanks, Toph. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Today, I'm going to show you, well, actually, as a rundown of what we're going to do, I'm going to show you Salesforce. Then I'm going to show you how to get our ODBC driver and how to configure it to connect to Salesforce. Then I'm going to show you how to connect to Tableau, then Excel, and then QlikView. And so with that, we can get started. So first thing is that we have Salesforce. So let's log in. This is pretty familiar to most of you, I bet. So this is just our Salesforce dashboard. You'll probably have it a little bit customized to your organization, but we can go in and we can see accounts. So we can see all accounts. Go. So I'm just connecting to a test organization that we have set up for this demo. It doesn't have a lot of data in it, so we can see we have 3 accounts set up. 2 prospects and a customer. And then we also have some reports set up. Example reports here. So what we really want to do is, looking at this data through the Salesforce dashboard is all great, but if you are a Tableau user and you want to perform some analysis on it, or if you're a hardcore Excel user and you want to do some extra calculations or visualizations, then how do you actually get this data out of Salesforce and into your BI tool to do analysis? And that's what we're going to show you. The first thing that you want to do is you want to go to Simba's website, www.simba.com. From here, you'll go to the products section. Then you'll go down to salesforce.com under the connectors option. So once you get here, on the very far right-hand side, you can see the free trial section. So you can just enter the information, select what operating system you want, and then hit Try Now. And then you'll be able to download the ODBC driver. I've actually already gone and downloaded and installed the driver. So once you've done that, the next thing we need to do is to actually configure the driver. For those of you who know ODBC, you'll know what a DSN stands for. For those of you who don't, a DSN is essentially a pre-configured set of connection options, which says, what am I connecting to? How am I going to do that connection? So we need to configure that. So to do that, go to your Start menu and go to your ODBC Administrator. Then click on the System DSN tab. By default, you'll see that there is a DSN already installed with the driver. So you can select that and go Configure. And this brings up the Salesforce configuration dialog for the driver. So you can see that we have the login URL where we're connecting to, our username, password, a proxy server if you need to use one, and some advanced options. I've already filled in my username, but we can fill in a password. And then we can test to make sure that our connection succeeded. And I've typed my password wrong. And again. So one thing that I actually forgot to mention is that if we're in Salesforce, to make a connection, unless you have a set of IPs that are whitelisted, you'll actually need your security token. To get that, go to your Salesforce UI, hit the drop-down, go to My Profile. Actually, I'm sorry, it's actually under Setup. Go to My Personal Information, and then go to Reset My Security Token. When you initially created your Salesforce account, you were sent a security token. Chances are, if you're like me, you've forgotten it or deleted it. So you can go reset security token and get another security token sent to you. All right. So we don't actually need the password in here right now. This is just for testing. It should work properly, which is not. Bypass it. Yep. So first thing we want to show off is Tableau. This is what Tableau looks like when you initially connect to it. So right here, we'll go to Connect to Data. We'll go to the very bottom, Other Databases, ODBC. From Other Databases, we can choose the DSN dropdown and choose the DSN that we've created. Hit Connect, and then the login dialog pops up. Our username, we'll need to enter our password. And then we'll also need to append the security token onto the end of that. Once you're done that, hit the OK button, and we'll make a connection to Salesforce. You can see the connection succeeded, and we'll hit OK. This is what happens when you initially make a connection. You can see we've connected to Salesforce. We can select our database, which is actually the name of the organization that you're connected to. We'll select our schema. Initially, nothing shows up, so you just hit the little magnifying glass. And then we want to select our table. A little word on how the data is represented. In Salesforce, you have a bunch of objects. You have users, you have accounts, and so on. Each type of object is represented by a table here. And each instance of that object is represented by a row. What that means is if I want to see all the accounts, I can take the account table, drag it over to the report area, and I can see all of the fields show up. And we can hit Update Now. And that will show the actual data. So if we remember when I was looking at my Salesforce accounts, we can see Acme, Global Media, and Salesforce.com. And we can see Acme, Salesforce, and Global Media. So once we've actually previewed what's here, we can go to the worksheet, and all of the dimensions and measures show up. So these are just all of the columns in the table showing up. And we can actually just pull some of these over. Take name, number of records. So you have a very simple report, just showing the name of the account and the number of counts for that name. And that's how easy it is to pull data into Tableau. And if you're a Tableau user, you can do more advanced analysis on this. So working with Excel, we can create a blank workbook. And there's actually two ways to connect to ODBC drivers through Excel. And I'll show them both off. The first way is go to the Data tab. go to From Other Data Sources, and go to From Data Connection Wizard. Select ODBC DSN. Next, select the Salesforce DSN that we've created and we used previously. And then our login dialog pops up again. So type your password, and then your security token. So this then shows the list of all available tables. So we can select the account table again and hit Finish. OK. We'll enter our password one more time. And we'll see Excel go out and fetch the actual table. And from here, we can do analysis within Excel. So if you wanted to do something a little bit more advanced, rather than just pull in one table, we can go back to the Data tab, From Other Data Sources. And instead of using the wizard, we can go from Microsoft Query. We can select our Salesforce DSN again. We'll have to log in. So here are all the tables showing up again. And we can actually expand a table to see all of the columns. So if we only wanted a specific column, we can only pull in the specific columns that we want. Let's say we just take name, billing city, and billing country. We can actually go and also apply a filter on this. So we're going to do equals Canada. And we could order by the result if we wanted to as well. I'm not going to order it. I'm just going to leave it as is because we only have a few records. Alternatively, if you wanted to do even more advanced calculations on your result, you can hit Cancel and continue editing it in MS Query. I'm just going to leave it as is and return this data to Salesforce. There you see, we have one account that's in Canada, and we have the name, the billing city, and the billing country that I selected coming back. So there you go. That's how you return data in Excel. Finally, we have QlikView. So let's create a new document. We don't want to use the wizard. We just want a blank one. To get data into QlikView, we need to use a script. So we hit the Edit Script button. Very bottom it says Data, and under Database you'll have ODBC selected. If you're connecting to a 32-bit ODBC driver, hit the Force 32-bit button. If you're not, leave that unchecked. And then hit Connect to bring up the list of ODBC DSNs. We'll select Salesforce and hit OK. Once again, it'll ask us to log in. And there we can see that added that to the script. From here, we can actually go and create the select statements that we want to issue. So hit the Select button. And again, it'll bring up the list of tables. We're going to select our account table again. And here you can pick and choose which columns you want to return for your report. I'm just going to leave it as star for everything. And we can see that's been added in. From here, we want to hit the Reload button. When we do this, it'll ask us to save. So we'll go OK. And then it will go and connect to Salesforce. OK. Here we can pick and choose which of those columns that we selected we want to return in a report for QlikView. I'm just going to add them all right now and go OK. And here's the view in QlikView. It doesn't look very useful right now, but we can go Layout and rearrange everything. And so this is all row associative in QlikView. So what that means is we can go and we can click the billing state, and it highlights all the records that are in California. And similarly, we can go New York or Ontario. So this is just an alternative way of looking at the exact same data as we saw in Excel and Tableau. And that wraps up how to connect to Tableau, Excel, and QlikView. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Toph for questions.
Thanks, Kyle. Simba's an interesting place because sometimes we take speed for granted. I've seen Kyle do demos where he does the demo and then we kind of say, wow, we'd like to see that again. We went very quickly through that, and I think unequivocally showed that Simba Technologies drivers can get you to your data within 5 minutes if you use them correctly. With that, I'd like to turn it over to questions. We've had a couple come in. So I will read them to Kyle and let Kyle answer them. First question is about Tableau, and like I said, if you have any questions, please submit them via chat now, and we'll get to the ones we can. First question here regarding Tableau. Why wouldn't I just use the Salesforce connector in Tableau?
So that's a good question. The Tableau Salesforce connector has some predefined reports, essentially, that you can pick and choose, but it doesn't really allow you the flexibility to do what you want. So when you use an ODBC driver, you have SQL support. So I didn't show it off, but in Tableau there's a way to use freehand SQL, which essentially allows you to just type in the SQL that you want to use. And you can use that with our ODBC driver. Additionally, you can also access reports through our ODBC driver instead of just from raw objects. So those are a couple of the reasons you might want to use our Salesforce ODBC driver instead of the connector in Tableau.
Thanks, Kyle. Another question, does the Simba Salesforce ODBC driver work with other applications? I assume that means other than the Tableau, Excel, and QlikView that we demoed here today.
The answer is yes. Since we're providing support for a generic standard in ODBC, any application which supports the ODBC interface, our ODBC driver will work with that. So that includes Spotfire, Informatica, Mira, pretty much any of the common BI tools will work.
And why don't we take one more here? Is there a JDBC version? We talked about ODBC today in great deal. Is there a JDBC version of the Simba Salesforce driver?
Yes, there is. It's not available on our website yet, but you can contact us, and we'll make available something.
Cool. With that, let's go ahead and wrap up our very brief webinar. I'd like to thank all of you in all the different time zones you're in for joining us today. As noted, if you missed any part of this admittedly brief webinar, we will be posting it to simba.com later today, tomorrow at the latest, but you can rewatch Kyle's deft demo work, and you can see how to connect your Salesforce data to Tableau, Excel, or QlikView in more detail if you like. If you have a question that wasn't answered, or if you have a question that you think of after we're done recording today, please feel free to email us at solutions@simba.com. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time today. Look forward to continuing the discussion as we go. With that, we'll sign off.